What's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be talking to you about Atari's long-forgotten handheld system, and that is the Atari Lynx. As you could hear, mine just powered up. The Lynx was actually a very revolutionary system at its time because in 1989, when the Game Boy came out, which was a monochrome system, it had mono sound, and it was like, the Game Boy is phenomenal, but when Atari released the Lynx, this system was a powerhouse of its time. It has a color front-lit screen, I believe it is. This is actually the Model 2 Atari Lynx. And pretty much this system threw the Game Boy out of the water in terms of specs, but not really in terms of games. Now, I believe when this system was released, it was very expensive. It was probably around $250 to $300. Also, the Lynx requires 6 AA batteries, as you could tell. I think their original model actually required 8, and it runs through them really quick. These 6 AA batteries will probably be dead within 2 to 3 hours, whereas the Game Boy, its benefit was the fact that its batteries would last like 10 to 12 hours at the time, which was phenomenal. Now, does the Lynx have a lot of good games? That's a good question. I guess the game quality is in the eyes of the beholder. However, from how many times I've actually played my Lynx, I've always had fun with it. The games, as you can see, I have Batman Returns, and they're actually come on really thin cartridges, very similar to Hue cards of the time. And what's weird about them is where Game Boy games would plug in basically so you could see what game was in, the Lynx games plug in as so and snap in. Now, one of the interesting things about the Lynx was it was for ambidextrous people. Now you see it has 4 face buttons and then your D-pad. Now when you turn it on, hold on. Saying insert game, let's see. Now I know you're not supposed to blow on your cartridges, but it works. Come on. There we go. So Batman Returns. Now, what you would do, if I'm not mistaken, you would click... How to do this? I think it's option 1 and flip? No. Apparently that's for... option 1, flip. I don't really even remember how to do this. Hold on. That shuts the backlight off. There you go. You click those 2 buttons. And pretty much it flips the thing upside down so you can play if you're a left-handed person. It's really cool, but not something I would do offhand. Now, a couple cool things with the Lynx. Aside from its color screen, it had a backlight adjuster up here, so you could adjust the power of the backlight. So actually it is a backlit screen, not a frontlit screen. I'm going to correct myself. And like I said, this system was a powerhouse of its time. However, it never really caught on from the price point and for the fact that Atari just wasn't doing too good in the late 80s, early 90s. This system, I believe, was discontinued in 1994, 1995. However, the Lynx over time has now gained a cult following because it's one of those systems that really no one had. I don't know anyone with an Atari Lynx, aside from myself, and even growing up, I don't think anyone even knew of the Atari Lynx. We all had Game Boys. So this system definitely was ahead of its time for its graphical capabilities, because certain games on here, I'm actually really impressed with certain things I've seen on here. Games like, I think it's called Blue Thunder, has like a pseudo 3D, it's like an airplane shooter, and it's really cool because it was different than what anything the Game Boy was putting out at the time, because you knew the Game Boy couldn't handle this, but the Lynx could. The Lynx was probably the most powerful handheld on the market at its time. It was more powerful than the Game Gear, than the Game Boy, and really nothing could probably match what it was doing up until the Game Boy Advance, which clearly surpassed it in so many ways. So yeah, that's my little overview of the Atari Lynx. I would definitely say pick one of these up today if you need it for your collection. You may enjoy it. I'm a little iffy on it, but it's definitely no slouch of a console if you can find games you like to play. Now, I picked up this system, I want to say back in 2011 to 2012, and I paid maybe $50 for the system and a bunch of games that came out on it. Let me show you guys the games that I got with it. We have certain games you might know. California games. We have Viking Child. Pinball Jam. Now, the only one of these I've heard of so far is California games. Toki. Steel Talons. Warbirds, and Zolar Mercenary. Now, I've really only ever put in and played Batman Returns, so I can't really recommend any of these games, but they're probably fun games. I'm not gonna lie. I apologize for the background noise, but this is where this video is probably gonna cut off anyway. So yeah, guys. That's the Atari Lynx. Definitely check this one out. If you or any friends you know had a Lynx, what were your impressions of the system? Do you think it was underrated? Do you think it was overrated? Or do you think it was just a terrible system? Or do you think it was a great system? Leave all that in the comments below. If you have any questions about the Atari Lynx, I'll see what I can do to answer them. As always, thank you for watching. Have a great day.